just wanna boogie, boogie tonight. I just wanna boogie with my baby tonight. I just wanna boogie, boogie tonight. I wanna boogie with my baby tonight. If I'm a little lonely, the telephone will ring and it's my man on the line. I got one ambition, gonna turn on his ignition, wrap the motor up and boogie with my baby. He says we're going dancing, so I'm wearing something sexy, cause I know what he likes. I got one desire, gonna start a raging fire, turn the heater up and boogie with my baby. I'm so lucky that I found him, that boy's the real McCoy. Anytime that I'm around him, I just gotta jump for joy. He doesn't have to tell me, I know how much he wants me by the look in his eye. I know what he's craving, the loving I've been saving, and tonight I'm gonna boogie with my baby. If I'm a little lonely, the telephone will ring and it's my man on the line. I got one ambition, gonna turn on his ignition, rev the motor up and boogie with my baby. He says we're going dancing, so I'm wearing something sexy, cause I know what he likes. I got one desire, gonna start a raging fire, turn the heater up and boogie with my baby. I'm so lucky that I found him, that boy's the real McCoy. Anytime that I'm around him, I just gotta jump for joy. He doesn't have to tell me, I know how much he wants me by the look in his eye. I know what he's craving, the loving I've been saving, and tonight I'm gonna boogie with my baby. I just wanna boogie, boogie tonight. I just wanna boogie with my baby tonight. I just wanna boogie, boogie tonight. I wanna boogie with my baby tonight. I just wanna boogie, boogie tonight. I just wanna boogie with my baby tonight. I just wanna boogie, boogie tonight. I wanna boogie with my baby tonight.
I keep my eyes on the horizon. My heart won't let me look away. Days go by, this dream will never die. You'll return one day. I walk alone along the shoreline, searching the miles of endless blue. I keep my eyes where my spirit cries, on the horizon for you. keep my eyes on the horizon. My heart won't let me look away. Days go by, this dream will never die. You'll return one day. I walk alone along the shoreline, searching the miles of endless blue. I keep my eyes where my spirit cries, on the horizon for you, on the horizon for you, on the horizon for you.
Good evening and welcome to Coffee Chat, where obviously the Discord is not showing up apparently for some reason or something. I have got no clue why. Interesting. Let's see what happens when we do this. Alright. Yep. Alright. Welcome to Coffee Talk, where we discuss matters a little more in depth, do a little more research, because we have a little more than 3.5 hours to do the research with. This evening, I am joined by Lou.
Hello again.
And Merlin Wolfhound.
Hi, I'm a Merlin.
What's the Discord? Okay, right. Let me put that in the chat real quick. Copy. There may be some weird code at the end of it, so if not, just copy the thing and search it and let me know when you're in so I can promote you. So let's see. Yep. As those of you that are new to my stream, welcome to Coffee Talk. Pull up a chair and your favorite brew and let's get discussing the issues. And also, it's not my stream unless there's at least one blooper somewhere, and the sound blooper was the first blooper, and it'll probably be one of a few. Who knows? The dog has decided to chill out on the bed, thank goodness, because before we started the show, he was trying to get me to play fetch, which wasn't going to work since we're trying to have a serious discussion about what's going on tonight. So who do I have in my chat so far? I've got a Fuckwad, welcome. I've got a Director Arcater, a Doubting Tommy, a Draconeth. I've got a Yin Wolf, that's a first timer. A Thrax, my lovely guard dragon of the internet. As I scroll down, I am seeing the Aher Duelist, welcome, welcome, and a Jason Todd has popped in. Sorry about that pesky, tire iron, dude. Hello, Numbed Skull, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, Neilk. And hello, Running Guns. How are you? And over on the Twitch side, we have a Mr. Dr. Bone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are discussing the topic. We did a lot of research on the FISA memo, and the first thing that Merlin and I were looking for frantically was a date, a time, or any information as to when they were going to vote to declassify this 4-page memo, and we could find none. Which frustrated us both, because the faster they can actually release this thing, the faster we can get down to brass tacks on this. But we were able to look at different sources and read through certain things, and the first thing we're going to start with today is a reading of what exactly the FISA is. Now, for those of you that don't live in the U.S., you're going to get, I guess, a little bit of an education as to what this is. So let's get to it here. All right. All the links, as always, are below, I believe, in full disclosure. So if you need to look any of this up, there you are. Let me see here. Stretch this out a bit. There we go. Not too much. And, yep, phone call right at the beginning of the stream. Yay, gotta love that. Okay, so, FISA is short for the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978. Through FISA, Congress sought to provide judicial and congressional oversight of foreign intelligence surveillance activities while maintaining the secrecy necessary to effectively monitor national security threats. FISA was initially enacted in 1978 and sets out procedures for physical and electronic surveillance and a collection of foreign intelligence information. Initially, FISA addressed only electronic surveillance, but has been significantly amended to address the use of pen registers and trap and trace devices, physical searches, and business records. Oh, here we go. And we have a Yin Wolf in the server. Let me see here. Let me get him. Okay, hop into the... And while he's hopping into the waiting room, we will continue reading. Alright, as we scroll down here, unlike domestic surveillance warrants issued under Title III of the Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Act of 1968, otherwise known as the Wiretap Act, agents need to demonstrate probable cause to believe that the target of the surveillance is a foreign power or agent of a foreign power. That a significant purpose of the surveillance is to obtain foreign intelligence information, and that appropriate minimization procedures are in place. Agents do not need to demonstrate that commission of a crime is imminent, and for purposes of FISA, agents of foreign powers include agents of foreign political organizations and groups engaged in international terrorism, as well as agents of foreign nations. So, let's see here. Oh God, Undoomed is I'm competing against so many people, and I'm such a whittle person.
Ew, no.
Exception to court order requirements. You notice we were live. The president may authorize electronic surveillance to acquire foreign intelligence information for periods of up to 1 year without an FISA court order, where the Attorney General certifies that there is no substantial likelihood that the surveillance will acquire the contents of any communication to which a U.S. person is a party, provided the surveillance is directed solely at communications among or between foreign powers or the acquisition of technical intelligence from property or premises under the open and exclusive control of a foreign power. So that is the meat and potatoes of FISA. Now, to separate this from what happened in Watergate, these are not only two different things. You're comparing apples and oranges when you're trying to compare the two. If this turns out that Obama actually used this act to spy on President Trump, it is worse than Watergate, because he used the government to spy on a campaign in order to influence it in one way or the other. In this case,
I have a question.
Yeah?
I have a question. First of all, for fuckwad, Moose Cow.
Lopez and Musco.
And secondly, if that's true, that means Obama would have to be in trouble, right?
Yep, because he
Like
would have broken
lawyers
the law.
and like lawyers in court and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what about Hillary?
Hillary would also be in trouble because, she did the dossier, which tried to get Trump in trouble.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
And can I just say one thing? If this is all true and it comes out and we actually get to see it in print, this would basically derail the Democratic Party for a very, very long time.
Yes, it would. Very, very much so.
And I'm giggling inside.
Well, I mean,
So
since the 2016 election, when we all knew what happened with the DNC, I mean, if anybody had a chance of running against Trump, and I hate to say it, hello, Mariel. Hey, MC, how are you guys doing this evening? If anybody had a chance to run against Trump, it was Bernie, and they knew it. And they derailed. They basically stuck him in a corner with a dunce cap and told him to shut up.
Yeah. But yet, still, Americans glommed to him. And he was a threat for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
he was. Now, those of you that noticed the change on Twitter from this morning to now would know that this morning, trending was the hashtag release the memo. Well, after my show, when I went to go do the research on Twitter, I went looking for the hashtag, and it was no longer trending. Right. So I was doing a little search and, a little look-see and a little look around to figure out what might have happened to this hashtag. And lo and behold, they're blaming Russian bots and trolls.
And it never stopped getting me right in the funny bone.
Oh, it never does.
With that one.
It's just absolutely hilarious how they're always blaming those pesky Russians. You know it's those pesky Russians.
It's like, oh, don't blame anybody else for our foreign problems. Blame Russia.
I think there's a Russian messing with me right now.
Yeah.
Even though they're foreign and shit.
Exactly. Thrax says it will definitely ruin the Clinton family. I agree. I completely agree.
Oh, it better.
Oh, yeah. Let's pull a Yin in here. Blink. Hello, Yin Wolf. How are you?
Hello, everyone.
Oh, welcome, Christia, to the channel, and thank you for following. So they're blaming Russian bots and trolls, which I think is absolutely hilarious and not the least bit surprising.
Oh, no.
Nah. Because, it's they're always going to blame something, because something this important can't possibly be trending on Twitter.
Yeah, if it wasn't the Russians, it'd be the Chinese.
Yeah. It says, Brett Schaefer, a communications coordinator at the German Marshals Fund Alliance for Securing Democracy, who tracks the Hamilton 68 account, said he certainly can't remember the last time the researchers had seen a topic promoted to this level by the Russia-linked bots and trolls. On a normal day, our top hashtag is typically used around 400 times in a 48-hour period by the network we track, he said in an email on Friday. As of right now, Hashtag release the memo has been used over 3,000 times, and 5 other related hashtags are in the top 10, he said. In total, they've easily shared more than 4,500 hashtags on the topic in the past 2 days. And our top URL is Assange's offer to pay for a copy of the memo. Let me repeat that. Our top URL is Assange's offer to pay for a copy of the memo. That certainly seems to be a sign of a coordinated effort by the bots and trolls. Now, who wasn't surprised that Assange wants a copy of the memo?
I was surprised.
Silently raise his hand.
Right? I was not surprised in the least. He likes to stay on top of things and leak stuff first. I'm making sure I don't have anything else highlighted. Nope. And it's just, it always makes me kind of smile when they're like, oh my god, I can't believe he did. It's Assange. It's Julian Assange. When doesn't he want to be on top of it?
What? I'm not familiar with this, and I am hoping there's at least
the
one other
WikiLeaks
person.
dude.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I am 9 layers of stupid. I have to tell this to you people daily.
No, you are just ignorant of certain facts, and this is one of the things the show wishes to do, is educate the public on what's going on without the mainstream twist.
Well, yeah, and then it's also probably good to, I don't know. It's also probably beneficial to elaborate on it as well.
Oh yeah.
Because
I'm
I'm biggest pleb.
I'm also ignorant of the facts. That's probably because I'm in Scotland. Don't really follow American politics too much.
That I don't doubt. There is a lot going on over here. Neil says, even if it's bots who want to see the memo, how is this an argument against releasing it? That is my question. There's a lot of questions. Like, what is in the memo? That's the main question. What is in the memo? Why are you hiding it from the public? What is so damning? Because if it says in there, in any way, shape, form, or fashion, that Obama was behind wiretapping Trump during the election cycle and after he was elected, that is huge news. That is a massive scandal for Obama and Hillary and anyone else wrapped up in that.
Well, let's be fair. These presidents in the past have started wars on lies, and Obama's dropped more bombs than any president before him. You really think a small thing like this is going to get him arrested?
It is.
I don't think it'll get him arrested. No, but well, I obviously, you don't want somebody to get arrested necessarily, but this is pretty damning, and I do want some consequences. Damn straight, I want some fucking consequences.
Me too.
I doubt it.
Because I mean,
if there's one thing the American government and the media can do, it's sweep things under the rug.
Yes, I have to agree with that. They are very good at spinning and sweeping things under the rug that they don't want in the public for too long, and they like to misdirect people to things that aren't as important, so as to draw attention away from things that are. We've seen that happen plenty.
Yeah, like for instance, when there was a lot of bad stuff going over in the Middle East, and they were on about Trump drinking Diet Coke or something.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a meme earlier today that was like something with Obama and Trump was like, "Here, hold my Diet Coke."
Okay, MC says, let me explain how FISA works and why. The NSA is a military electronic surveillance group. It is tasked with watching other nations who would harm the U.S. FISA was an attempt to provide oversight. That summarizes what I read to be. Yeah, that put it in layman's terms. Thank you, MC.
Who protects these nations from the countries the US wishes to harm, though?
That is, who watches the Watchers has always been a question on most people's minds when it comes to espionage and surveillance.
Well, that's easy. Moose cow.
You little shit.
I'm not.
Hey, the Russians are attacking me right now because I'm having trouble.
They're
over here,
hacking my
technically.
computer.
I think they are. I think I saw one. He's running across my table. Got him.
Merlin.
Damn it!
Shit.
Got him. Yeah, you messed.
The only thing I learn in these streams is how not to stream. Thanks, Mariel. I love you too.
Wow.
Mariel,
That was just.
Be nice for once. I don't know what it is with you people over there, but dear Lord, you are mean.
I am sensing salt from the live chat.
Oh, that salt turned sour. That salt turned sour.
Yep.
He really must.
That's not the good kind of sour gummy worms that I want.
Yeah. MC also says the abuse is tasking for NSA assets from other agencies, causing mission creep.
He
know,
really must
that's-
be bastards.
I wonder from this, if we do get this memo, who else was involved?
That would
You
be
know,
interesting to
besides-
find out.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like an entire like domino effect or some shit. Or I don't know what it's called. I think it was domino. Probably
Yeah.
not.
Well, this one.
Yeah,
what-
it's like it's gonna come back to bite so many people in the ass. I am sure.
Well, right now, one of two things are going to happen. Either the Democrats will be successful, it's not going to come out, or they're going to read a lot of it
Yep.
when they bring it out. Those are two fears I have right now.
Doubting Tommy says FISA is not supposed to be used on citizens, let alone a presidential candidate. Correct. MC, specifically the FBI, this was something the Patriot Act authorized. Yeah,
Thank
the
you for the Patriot Act.
Baby Bush.
Mariel says us Scots are right, cunts. You should already know this.
Yes, I know, and you're lovable cunts in your own ways.
That is true. I mean, have you ever heard in Scottish diplomacy?
No,
No.
but I know that Scots have some of the best insults out there.
Do they float in water?
Better than
Scottish.
British people.
Scottish diplomacy is basically, you're a cunt. It's okay. I like cunts.
Hey, Maddie, nice picture of your hand.
Keith-
Every once in a while in the video.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm gonna have to translate what Thrax is sticking in the chat because I do not speak Latin. I think that's Latin. Let me put this in
Or is it Cuban?
the Google. No, if it was Cuban, I could read it.
Scottish.
Hold on, let me try this. Custodia espsas custodies.
Yeah, that's not even.
That sounds like That sounds like some shit about a custodian
Okay,
doing
yeah.
custodian.
Who watches the Watchmen
That-
in Latin? Who watches the Watchmen
That-
in Latin?
So
That's good.
custodian is like watchman or some shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yep. Yep.
Why
looked
the
it
hell
up,
are they
Thrax.
not on top of the buildings and in them?
All right, Republicans
Nice.
rally for public release of memo on FISA abuses. So, the first thing is the House Intelligence Committee on Thursday. This is the Intelligence Committee, not the House proper.
So this
Approved
is the
by a
first-
party line vote to make the 4-page memo available to all members of the lower chamber. In other words, all of the House and I think the Senate too can also read the 4-page memo. We can't read it, but it has been
No.
released for the lower chambers to read it, like the Senate and the.
The American people are not special.
We need to see this because
We
this
do,
is-
we do.
we do.
And if this is true, like I said, the Democratic Party is done.
Yeah.
Kaput.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm giggling again.
Representative Steve King, a Republican from Iowa, said he read the memo and implied there was some sort of bias in favor of Trump's 2016 Democratic opponent Hillary Clinton. You don't say. I have read the memo, he tweeted. The sickening reality has set in. I no longer hold out hope there is an innocent explanation for the information the public has seen. I have long said it is worse than Watergate. It was hashtag never Trump and hashtag always Hillary. Hashtag release the memo. Representative Matt Gaetz, a Republican from Florida, called for the public release of the memo's information to preserve our democracy. The House must immediately make public the memo prepared by the Intelligence Committee regarding the FBI and the Department of Justice. So far we've got the FBI and the DOJ named. Gaetz said in a statement, the facts contained in this memo are jaw-dropping and demand full transparency. There is no higher priority than the release of this information to preserve our democracy. Hello, Wiki. Why am I buffering? So I'm buffering for somebody. Am I buffering? Let me check. No? I'm okay on my end.
Not buffering for me.
Mine's just all over the place. The Russians are just, they're reproduced.
So far we've got the FBI and the Department of Justice named. Some of our sources that we have seen is also saying that this happened Well, it happened while Obama was in office. So, Ohio Representative Jim Jordan and North Carolina Representative Mark Meadows called the memo alarming and shocking, respectively. Part of me wishes that I didn't read it because I don't want to believe that those kinds of things could be happening in this country that I call home and love so much, Meadows added. 'Tis best not to remain ignorant, son, because most of us lowly plebs have known that, our politics have been corrupted for years.
Yeah, somebody needs to take his horse binders off.
Yeah, they do. Wikipedia snippet. Intelligence committee is an obvious oxymoron. I agree. Like military intelligence.
No kidding. Military intelligence or, governmental intelligence or government as a whole, like, is that an oxymoron at this point? Like, how they're acting and shit?
Yeah. The last time I checked, I think there was a 10 to 15 second delay between what we're saying and when you guys see it. So
last I checked, it was about 10.
10,
Not that
15,
long.
Yeah, 10, 15. It's going pretty. It gets longer if I decide to broadcast through Periscope, which is why I stopped a long time ago.
Woo!
Yeah, it gets up to 30 seconds if I add Periscope to the streaming list.
That's bullshit.
It is. Here is the process. Chairman Devin Nunes in the Intelligence Committee in the House, he can bring the committee back together. They have a vote. If the majority of the committee votes to release these documents, the executive branch gets a certain amount of time to review them. If the executive branch gives the thumbs up, they go public. He told Fox News' Sean Hannity, this could happen real quick. Chairman Nunes is committed to getting this information to the public. So the committee has to have a vote. The majority of the committee members have to vote to pass it over to Trump, and then Trump has final say as to whether this 4-page document gets released. Let me see.
I wonder how many of those votes will be bought and paid for.
I don't know. I have no clue. Doubting Tommy. Tucker is talking about this right now. No doubt, this is big news. I would suspect somebody on Fox News would be talking about this. They were the first ones that broke the story. Hellbound. Does this have anything to do with the Omarosa and this? No, it does not have anything to do with Omarosa. Neil. The delay is so different per platform depending on what order they connected in from Restream. Yeah.
What's Omarosa?
Omarosa is somebody that used to work for Trump.
Right.
Yeah. MC, executive branch is the authority on declassification. Let me see. Doubting Tommy, 64 Republicans signed a letter to intelligence. The majority voted today on a party line basis to grant House members access to a profoundly misleading set of talking points, so it's just the House, not the House and the Senate. Members access to a profoundly misleading set of talking points drafted by Republican staff attacking the FBI and its handling of the investigation. Schiff, a Democrat from California, said in a statement. Rife with factual inaccuracies and referencing highly classified materials that most of Republican Intelligence Committee members were forced to acknowledge they had never read. This is meant only to give Republican House members a distorted view of the FBI. Okay, first of all, it's already been shown and leaked through other documents and things that I have been seeing on the internet that it was slanted against Trump. That the investigation for the collusion was always slanted against Trump, favoring, Teflon Hillary and making sure she comes out smelling like roses.
Yeah, because she was
in reality, she smells like dog shit.
She was a chosen one.
Mm-hmm.
From the very beginning. So they did everything to try to get her in.
Yeah.
And guess what? She still lost.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she lost because she didn't try too hard, because she thought she was getting it handed to her.
No, she spent millions interrupting Trump rallies, making them look like it's nothing but a bunch of rednecks that fight all the time. This thing here, I'm sure she poured a lot of money into. She poured a lot of money into derailing Trump.
Yeah, this is also supposed to give concrete evidence either to or against the fact that she actually paid to have the dossier against Trump authored. And I say either yes or no because, again, during our research, I never found concrete evidence that the dossier was actually commissioned by Hillary. There were whispers on Fox News, but since they're the only source that has said it, I am not going to rely on just one news source for my information.
Oh, correction.
Which
Over
is-
1 billion was spent by Hillary in the DNC.
Well, I can I can completely understand why you don't want to go by one news source, because that has proven to be people's downfall in the end. Is if you do go with just one news source, normally it doesn't end that well at all, unless you're planning on taking a huge fucking gamble on who you're getting your information from. And with Fox News in the past 10 years or so, 10, 20 years, it has been a gamble, sadly.
Yeah. They have flip-flopped from actually being balanced to being slanted, back to being balanced, back to being slanted, and it's always, nah, I'm not.
That's why I go with CNN.
You know you don't trust the Comedy News Network. You know you don't trust the Comedy News Network.
No, I don't.
Director Arketer in the chat says one of the reasons she failed, and she had several, is that she assumed victory on the grounds of money spent and couldn't conceal her contempt for poor peasant voters.
That's for sure.
Well, that and the overwhelming media support. Let's face it, she was the mainstream media's golden girl.
She was the
Shit.
and she was the most abrasive person they could have ever put for a presidential candidate. So abrasive.
Yeah.
Didn't she just stand on a platform at one point and just shoot off buzzwords, you know, like all these racist, misogynist, transphobic, homophobic?
Well,
you can tell she was talking like she was trying to remember a list off the top of her head. Oh, buzzwords.
She also, at one point, I believe, called black people super predators, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
She did at one point, and then there's also, I remember I was with my family and I was visiting some old friends, like back in my old hometown where I was born. And while we were up there, they had it was when they were doing like the rallies and stuff, and me, my Nana, and my mom had watched Hillary. And it was good at the time, but holy crap, the amount of like fucking like just the like extravagant ways that she was doing it. Like she even had fucking Katy Perry behind her at this point.
Oh yeah.
It literally, it was just a big old like flashy advertisement was all her campaign was.
Yeah.
That's all she had. They could have bet on her personality. So they had to do everything
bet on
else.
her personality. I remember she had that Pokemon. She tried to make a hashtag.
Oh God! Please don't say that.
Pokemon
Please don't say that horrid phrase. Oh God.
That was a train wreck.
Oh,
that was a train wreck.
When I was playing Pokemon Go.
Like I was playing this Pokemon Go. Yeah, that's right. I said it because I'm so hip.
Pokemon, go to the polls. I wanted to punch my television. Oh, I wanted to punch my television. Oh.
You and me both. Holy mother.
She was the chosen one. She didn't lead anything. She was a puppet for the DNC, and we don't know who's putting these things internally at the DNC.
Exactly, a hair we still don't know.
Who uses a hospital sign as a campaign logo?
Right? Because that was a hospital sign, just recolored.
Yes, it was. It was a hospital sign.
I couldn't believe like the shit when people were just plastering all over the place, like the I'm with her shit. Like I had a couple of my best friends who were posting that, and I was just sitting there like, what the fuck are you doing?
MC, if you could do me a favor and DM me on Twitter with a link with ABC News saying Hillary defends paying for the dossier, I will most assuredly read it on this stream tonight.
Yeah, I know there's...
Please.
I knew there was... No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Yin.
Here's the funny thing. Everyone's talking about how Trump is like... he grabbed them by the pussy, forgetting that the former president is a rapist who paid his secretary hush money.
Well, I mean, not only that, they're saying they wanted to build Trump as a misogynist. So far, what we've seen with his administration is he has the most number of women in cabinet and places of power. He has one as his mouthpiece.
Trump has done everything he has stopped the Democrat Party in its tracks and everything the Democrat Party has tried to do. Trump has outsmarted them. It's been running circles around him. He's healthy too, so he can do that. I mean,
Sorry,
it's sad to see the Democratic Party just
Molly,
fall apart like that.
you were breaking up a little bit there for me.
He's having some audio issues tonight.
I think we all are.
We all are, for a small extent. Okay, Representative Gates. Heads will roll at DOJ and FBI when details of FISA abuse memo come out. Here are some of the quotes. This is his full statement. Representative Matt Gates. Our republic is in jeopardy if we allow this type of palace coup environment to continue to persist, and that's why I'm one of the members of Congress who will be encouraging today Intelligence Chairman Devin Nunes to release the memo. We can have a vote in the Intelligence Committee, a vote in the full House of Representatives. This is a matter of such importance that I think we need to do it immediately. Unfortunately, I can't get into the specific details of this top secret document, but that is why we have to release it. I don't think it is appropriate for just members of Congress to be horrified by the activities that were undertaken during this endeavor. If we get this memo into the public square, heads are going to roll at the FBI and Department of Justice. There is no way everyone keeps their job. We can never live in a country where this type of thing happens, and particularly the authentication process that are laid out in the memo are of such fiction, they are so laughable, that they could never withstand scrutiny from the public. What I'm worried about is that the cast of characters identified in the memo are not a group of people that are gone. Many of these people are still in our government. They still wield influence, and that is why we've got to get this information out into the public. I think there are people who could face criminal consequences as a result of the activities laid out in this memo. It is easy to see after reading this memo why Senator Grassley and why Senator Graham wanted to refer this matter for criminal prosecution. Laws were broken. They were. I have every confidence after speaking with Paul Ryan and Devin Nunes that after we go through the right procedures and provide the adequate notifications to the executive branch, that we will release this memo. We need the public to continue to call for it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right now.
Yeah.
Because, Obama, Hillary, they're all luring up, and whoever else is in that memo.
Hey, Callie, glad you could make it to the live chat.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
If it comes out, the only thing I'm afraid of is there's going to be a natural so-called disaster when this comes out or something. Somehow they're going to try to bury it.
Yeah.
That it doesn't see the light of day.
I mean, and some people say that would be, a tinfoil hat type of conspiracy, but you have got to take into account that every time something big has happened, it has been redirected, and our attention has always, the mainstream media has tried to draw our attention elsewhere.
Yep. Magic tricks.
Smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors.
There's nothing worse than not having a warm
said,
coat when it's freezing
quote,
outside.
we need a whistleblower if the FISA memo isn't released. Let's hope it isn't Chelsea Manning.
Oh, yeah.
All I know if
we might need a whistleblower at this point. Like, shit, this is getting actual, outlast levels of corruption.
All right, this is the article that just came to me from MC. So I have not vetted this article, full disclosure. This just came to me from MC through the Twitters. Hillary Clinton defends funding anti-Trump dossier in late-night interview. I want to get a hold of this damn interview. Former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton on Wednesday defended paying for a controversial dossier that alleged ties between President Donald Trump and Russia during the 2016 election. In a late-night interview on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, had to be Trevor Noah, Clinton said there was a difference between her campaign paying for legal opposition research and Trump's team possibly working with Russia to influence the election.
Oh.
I think,
you.
Yeah, she's still hanging on that collusion train right now. I think she's flapping the wind off the caboose. I think most serious people understand that, Clinton said. This was research started by a Republican donor during the Republican primary, and when Trump got the nomination for the Republican Party, the people doing it came to my campaign lawyer. He said, yes, Clinton added, referring to her campaign lawyer, Mark Ellis. He is an experienced lawyer. He knows what the law is. He knows what opposition research is.
And how not to get caught.
Right.
Wasn't Hillary Clinton supported by Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia did pay into the Clinton fund.
Mm-hmm.
So Clinton Foundation.
Yep, and
They're-
Clinton was also seen taking pictures with a Grand Wizard of the KKK and saying that said Grand Wizard was her mentor.
I can see it.
You know.
I can't just see it. I can visualize it and imagine the fucking conversations that bitch would have.
I can see her cackling and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. All I can say is, if
Wicked Witch
her
of the
name
West
is in
Side.
this, for one, I wanted to see one crime stick to Hillary Clinton. One, I'll be happy.
Yeah, just
She
one.
needs to be brought up.
Even the
on
most
charges.
minuscule thing, I would be fucking happy.
Yeah, she needs to be brought on something. If the emails are not sticking to her, this has to. If she's in it.
Director Arcater Trevor Noah still pissing away the goodwill Stewart earned The Daily Show. Have to be running on dry, very dry. Yeah, he is ruining the reputation of The Daily Show.
Move the picture. I see this ugly thing on the computer. I'm blind. What is that thing?
That is a Clinton. Clinton
Oh
went
my
on.
goodness.
Clinton went on to allege that Trump had to know that people were reaching out to the Russian government in order to help him. We never had an adversary who attacked us with so few consequences, Clinton said. Cognitive dissonance. And I think that's in a large measure because the president is so ambivalent. You're describing yourself, Hillary. You might want to shut up. I mean, he has to know. We'll find out what he knew and how involved he was. But he had to know that people were making outreach to Russians to the highest levels of the Kremlin in order to help him, to hurt me, but more importantly, to sow this divisiveness, she added. The divisiveness that Obama started?
The
I read it.
divisiveness that Obama started, the divisiveness that plenty of people have been perpetuating over the last 10 years.
By the way, I actually read her book,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's Russians all over it.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me in the least. Last week,
Oh,
the
what, do
conservative
they have, like-
outlet... Last
Did
week, the conservative outlet Washington Free Beacon revealed that it hired research firm Fusion GPS during the 2016 Republican presidential primary to conduct the opposition research on Trump and several GOP presidential candidates. A testimony of which is how many pages long, Merlin?
Whose testimony?
That PDF that I sent you about the
Oh,
testimony?
165 pages. 165 pages.
165.
165 pages.
You know,
Yeah.
Hillary blames the Russians for everything, but you know she drinks vodka.
Yeah.
Hellbound said, didn't that guy, Bird, Hillary's mentor, renounce his KKK affiliation?
I never heard word that he did.
But remember,
Either way,
if
can
we-
you really
if we think like
renounce-
Democrats, he's guilty by association. It doesn't matter if he's out or not.
He may be at the club, but
If you are old enough to be considered Hillary Clinton's mentor, can you renounce your KKK affiliation? I'm sorry. That's what I have to ask. Like, I understand a lot of people are all about forgiveness nowadays, but there comes an age in your life where you're sort of like, any decision after that is for gain, not because you changed your mind.
I hear Des in my head.
Yep, there's a Diz.
Ooh!
Welcome,
Feel free.
BE Atlas. Pull up a chair and your favorite brew. Director Arcater, her book is The Cultivated Insanity. She uses 1982 to push the message you should trust the government, media, and experts.
Oh, the book is funny. That's for sure. I laughed, and then I got pissed, and I laughed some more. But anyway, Yin Wolf wanted to say something.
People forgive you unless you're a straight white male or just white.
Yeah, true.
Because all white males look the same.
Alright.
Hey, assuming this lawsuit goes well for Google or for James Damore against Google, then if you're a white male, you're looking for some good benefits in the next few years.
According to MC Bird did renounce his association and then said there are white N-words too. Sorry, I don't even use that word in polite company.
It's a W word, not an N word.
I will, but I won't use it on here.
Thank you.
We're not polite company.
Well, I'm not comfortable using the word myself. It's never been a word that has rolled easily off my tongue, so I don't use it.
Me neither.
The research effort expanded in March 2016 under financing from Democrats. The Washington Post first reported last Tuesday that the Democratic National Committee and Clinton campaign later retained Fusion GPS to conduct research. ABC News reported in August that Fusion GPS was paid during the GOP primaries by a Republican and later by Democrats to dig up dirt on Trump and plant negative news stories. Clinton downplayed the impact of the dossier during the Wednesday interview, highlighting that it came out after the election. And also didn't come out, which I think is an even bigger problem, as I wrote in the book, is that the American people didn't even know that the FBI was investigating the Trump campaign because of connections with Russia starting in the summer of 2016. And may I add, these are connections they still haven't been able to make?
No.
Oh, and I love how she completely avoids the fact that she was under investigation for 2 years before Trump was even considered.
Mm-hmm. Emails,
Yeah.
anyone?
For the exact
shit.
same
She's
thing,
trying to get
nonetheless.
Yeah.
She's trying to get it off her. She's trying to get everybody off her ass with Trump while simultaneously still having her shit so far deep up who knows whose ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Dear Lord, this just goes on and
Oh, it
on
does.
and fucking on, and it's like so conspiracy theorist that I'm tempted to not believe it, but knowing Hillary, it's
Well, that's the thing, is a
doubtful
lot
that
of
it's not true.
A lot of it's not. I mean, a lot of people like to say it's conspiracy theorists. What's conspiracy theorists? The fact that she signed documents
Hello, Rabbit.
agreeing to things that she is completely publicly against.
Yeah, I can't. The sad thing is,
That's not
I
conspiracy.
can believe that
that's a
she
fucking.
do it.
But that's
Ben,
not
guys, you know
conspiracy. That is. There is no. I believe it's. This is her public UN signed signature, witnessed by 500 people, of her point of view on this subject,
Yeah,
which is the exact opposite of what she platforms on.
exactly.
MC says Benghazi, anyone?
Exactly.
Yeah, we're
Me.
not talking conspiracy theory here.
An
We're
arm still
talking
gone wrong.
signed
I'm saying
things
it sounds
that
like
there
one.
is
I'm not
government
saying I
record
believe
of.
that it's one.
Yeah. BE says, I've asked this question to liberals for weeks and yet no answer. What do you think Hillary meant when she said swinging from nooses? Yeah.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm. She said
What
a
did she
lot
say?
of stuff during the campaign she shouldn't have said. Swinging from nooses.
Was she referring
Yeah.
to black folk?
Probably.
Racist bitch.
I would have to get the reference behind
Yeah,
that.
I would have to
Yeah,
get the
I'm
reference
looking
to.
that up now.
Okay. Let me know when you find it. Yep, Benghazi, anyone. Then you had the email scandal. There's so many scandals attached to the Clinton name.
With the email scandal, I read the book, and
Actually,
she
the
turned.
email scandal separately, I would give as a legit thing. The issue is who was involved in it, and the fact that it should have been known better because there was DNC members involved.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Merlin?
I was going to say that she has a chapter in her book all about the emails, and she tries to play it off like, it was just her and talking to Chelsea and her granddaughter and everything else. It's so conspiracy, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a conspiracy, me going to yoga and stuff like that. She
Yeah.
made it everything like she was innocent. She didn't cover anything at all.
Yeah, Draconeth says, how long do you guys think Dems are losing positions in the House? Oh, I don't think it's going to be too long.
If, with this and with the Mueller, when he comes out and says there was no Russian conclusion, the Democrat Party's done.
Yeah.
They're dead in the water.
Oh, I remember that particular video clip of Hillary losing her shit when Matt Lauer went off script. I remember that.
great. That
What
was
happened?
great.
There was an interview that Matt Lauer did with Hillary during the campaign where he was given a list of questions that he was told to ask her and not to deviate from the script. And when he did, she lost her shit. She flipped her wig. She was so angry. They literally had to cut the interview short because she lost her temper.
I'm looking at this. If this is the same scenario, I'm looking at Snopes right now, and I don't know how reliable that is, but they're kind of like they're supposed to be a debunking site, but they debunked it as being, they debunked her going off offset.
Is a joke
Of course
site.
they did.
Yeah.
They're that type of site.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
But it says that I think it's saying
Nope, not
somebody else is
reliable.
saying that was the the hanging from nooses thing was in regards to Trump after something with NBC or something or another.
And this shows, and that little blow up shows how controlled Hillary has to be.
Yeah, this was after she said that in order to run the country effectively, you have to know how to control your emotions and not lose your temper. Huh. Want to
Yeah.
try following your own advice there, Toots?
Yeah, either practice what you preach or preach what you practice.
Mm-hmm.
Practice what you preach. Yeah, that's the saying. That's how we
Yep,
gotta
that's
work.
it. Let me see.
Yeah, I know the same. Just adding to anything. Practice what you preach or preach what you practice.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if I've got this.
I can't actually find that interview, Hillary.
I think it's,
And,
it's still floating around. It is still floating around. Let me see if I can get this PDF to load and go down to the exact point where the guy from the GPS actually said what he said. Here it is.
It says here when Matt Lerner interviewed Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, he was
yeah.
widely criticized as being soft on Trump.
Yep. Okay, here we go.
B.E. Atlas says swinging from nooses was what she said would happen if they lost the election.
Right. Yeah, because she
Yeah, I think it was in
Exactly.
regards to Trump. Like, if Trump won, they'd be quote unquote swinging from news.
Okay, this is, I don't know if I've got this in the description or not, so I'm going to put this in the live chat and hope to God this works. There may be some ghost stuff at the end of it, but what you're looking at, kind of cloudy from what I see on my OBS, is actual testimony that is unclassified from the committee between Trey Gowdy and Mr. Simpson. Trey Gowdy. It won't be a trick question. It will be because I ask it inartfully. Where do you work and how long have you worked there? Mr. Simpson. I worked at a consulting firm here in Washington. The trade name is Fusion GPS. The legal entity is called Bean LLC, and I've been there since I believe 2010, and it is a research consulting firm. Trey Gowdy. All right, that was my next question. What does Fusion GPS do? Mr. Simpson. It is a commercial research firm, sometimes also does strategy, public affairs. The primary line of work wherein is research. Generally, it specializes in public records, research, other sort of journalistic style information gathering. Trey Gowdy. When someone uses the phrase, quote, opposition research, unquote, does that mean anything to you? Does that have any trade meaning? Mr. Simpson. Well, I was introduced to opposition research when I was a reporter on Capitol Hill. And so the conventional term is usually people who work on campaigns who are looking for information that will be useful in debates or other election-related activities is my general historical understanding of the term. Trey Gowdy. Does Fusion GPS do what you just described as opposition research? Mr. Simpson. From time to time. It's not a very big part of our business. Generally we work for corporate clients and banks and large law firms. And most of our work is not election related. It has to do with fraud and corruption investigations and policy disputes and high dollar litigation. Gowdy. Were you hired by a person or entity in either 2015 or 2016 to do the research into then candidate Donald Trump? Mr. Simpson. Yes, we were. We were hired around September, October of 2015. Mr. Gowdy. By whom? Mr. Simpson. The Free Beacon has been publicly stated as the client or identified to the committee as the client, and I can confirm that. Trey Gowdy. All right, I'm going to be asking you questions even though there's been public reporting. I don't want anybody in the media to take any offense, but sometimes they're right, sometimes they're not right. So, Mr. Simpson, I can agree with that. Mr. Gowdy. So in this instance, can we all celebrate the fact they were correct, that you were hired by the Washington Free Beacon? Mr. Simpson. That was the client. Yes. So far, we've got an admission. Now here comes the meat and potatoes. Mr. Gowdy. All right. What were your instructions? What were you asked to do? Mr. Simpson. I think I covered our client relationships are confidential, so I can't get into what anyone specifically told me. I think I can speak more broadly and say that it is an open-ended look at Donald Trump's business career and his litigation history and his relationships with questionable people, how much he was really worth, how he ran his casinos, what kind of performance he had in other lines of work. It was very broad, unfocused look, which is the way we do our business. Essentially, we don't usually allow clients to tell us what to look at and what not to look at, because we don't think that's a smart way of trying to understand a subject. So generally speaking, we just do an open-ended look at everything we can find. So it starts with a literature review. Now pay attention to the resources this company has and how much stuff they can look into.
I'm so jealous.
Me too. We obtain all the books we can on a subject and order them all, used from Amazon, and all the newspaper articles and all the court records, all the public records you can lay your hands on. And only after you've digested all that information do you start to figure out, where to focus your inquiries. Trey Gowdy, were you asked to write a report or just accumulate information? Mr. Simpson, again, I need to steer clear of specific communications I had with my clients, but I can tell you that as a business practice, generally speaking, we do engagements on a 30-day basis. And at the end of the 30 days, we write a report about what we found. And if there are specific things that are interesting, a particular lawsuit or a dispute or a business deal or something like that, we will write a separate treatment of that issue. But generally speaking, for most of our clients, particularly in the beginning of an engagement, it's a 30-day assignment, and at the end of 30 days, you get a report. And if you think we told you what was interesting and you want more, you can sign up again.
That's for the average client, by the way, not for somebody who's running for president of the United States.
Right.
So what extra side activities may have they performed for her?
Yeah. Well, it goes
All
on.
I know is I want that job. That sounds fun.
Let's see here. All right. Let me see. Trey Gowdy. Well, I really am trying to limit the number of times your lawyer has to lean over there and give you counsel. So I'm trying.
Snap.
Yes. So I'm trying to stay within the parameters of what I think you feel like you're able to answer. But are you asked to write what some of our friends may refer to as a fair and balanced piece, or are they primarily interested in negative information? Mr. Simpson. Well, we've only had a small number of political clients, so I can tell you, our methodology doesn't really change. My firm is, all the principals are former journalists, so we don't come out of the political combat industry. We come out of the, journalism industry, which is all about sort of sticking to the facts and not leaping to conclusions and not trying to, come up with a hit piece on anybody.
Sorry, I'm trying not to cough up some bullshit.
Right?
I already did. Oh, man. Oh,
Right?
look, it's yellow.
Yep. So generally speaking, what we get compensated for is producing reliable treatments of whatever the subject is. And I should just add, it doesn't help us, our clients, if we only look for negative information. What the clients want is all the information. And so, if you're in a campaign and the, other side is a businessman, and I am reading this exactly how it's written, guys.
Is he a Valley girl?
I don't know. The other side is a businessman, and you're reviewing his career. It's important information whether he's a good businessman or a bad businessman, and you don't want your client trying to make an issue of his business career if he's a brilliant businessman who knows how to make money in an honest and ethical way.
That guy is tap dancing. He is like all over the place.
Yes, he is.
He cannot stay in his lane. Oh my goodness.
No, he is all
He is
over.
freaking out.
And not in the way that some people say stay in your lane when talking about certain issues or something.
Well, in all fairness, when you're trying to answer questions and not break client entity, confidentiality, you tap dance a lot, because if you say something you're not supposed to say, that's your business on the line. That's your employer on the line.
And depending on who your client is, quite possibly your own fucking life.
Well, in this case, his business is on the line.
Yeah.
Depending on what comes out in these memos.
Yeah. It's Mr. Gowdy. All right. Let me ask you about a couple of words you just used. He would. You just used the words good and bad, which some would argue are inherently subjective, but you also used the word facts. And what did you mean when you used the word facts?
Yeah, Mr. Journalist.
Mr. Simpson, I mean, factual information is a lot of what we do is gather facts. And sometimes facts are provable facts, sometimes facts are established facts, sometimes they're allegations, factual allegations. What the
What the hell is he talking about?
Okay, let me reread that. Sometimes facts are established facts.
Okay.
Sometimes they're allegations, factual allegations.
Factual allegations. Okay.
Excuse me, what the fuck? Allegations are based on possibility, not factuality. If they were factuality, they would be presented as evidence, not allegations.
Well, not to the school he went to.
Apparently not.
This motherfucker.
So we do all of the above. When you gather up lawsuit information, for example, you have two sides making factual allegations against each other. In other words, accusations. Basically accusations.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yes.
Against each other, and what's important is that you have a reliable, credible basis for your information. And you know, it's a lot like journalism in that journalism is called the first draft of history, where essentially you're gathering up information, and your job is not to determine the truth, is to gather the credible information and to present all the possibilities and all the reliable information you can find. But, you know, every day in the newspaper, every story has two sides to it. It's not the reporter's job to figure out who's telling the truth and who's not, or who's right and who's wrong. I thought that was their job. It's to be responsible and professional in gathering up all the facts and allegations and presenting them in a neutral way. Which you guys don't do.
Yeah,
So our method is journalistic, and our reports are written along those lines.
Neutral my fucking ass.
Oh my god.
That was the Titanic right there.
Mm-hmm.
He just he sunk. He is sinking.
It's not the reporter's job to figure out who's telling the truth and who's not or who's right and who's wrong. In other words,
I'm going. Dad's coming up 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to say good night.
All right, good night, Ian. Thank you for coming.
Nice
meeting you, Ian.
Take care, dude.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for having me on, guys and girls. Bye bye.
Bye. Yeah, he is tap dancing. Well, I mean, journalism at its core, at its root, is just supposed to report the facts and let everyone else draw their conclusions. They're just supposed to report the news in a fair, unbiased, objective way. And
you know what he reminds me of?
What?
He reminds me of the kid that didn't do his report and has to stand in front of the class.
Yeah.
And do the report, and he tap dances because he doesn't know what it was.
Exactly. This is just the tap dancing he's doing.
I think there was a murder in the chat room.
I think Thrax may have gone to another stream. I do not know. He tends to hop around a lot.
Still here, I think.
But I mean, it's but like I said before, when your corporation prides itself on confidentiality, there's only so much you can say before you have said too much. And I think the only time to break that client confidentiality is if there's a death that happens and your client is involved, in which case that confidentiality goes out the window if you can prove that that client is involved in that particular incident. So he's in a tough spot here trying to explain what exactly he did when he can't explain what exactly he did.
And he's still failing at it.
Yeah.
Horribly.
You can tell here he was completely unprepared for the questions that Trey Gowdy was asking him.
Yeah, he did do his homework.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. Especially with Trey Gowdy.
Yeah.
He's not going to mince words, as you see here.
Nope.
He knows the facts. He has everything. He has everything in front of him. Basically, he's trying to bait this guy and trap this guy.
Yeah.
And this guy's being baited hard.
Oh, yes, he is. Yes, he is. Mr. Gowdy, do you draw a distinction between facts and allegations? Mr. Simpson, certainly. Mr. Gowdy, what is that distinction? Mr. Simpson, well, I mean, a fact is something that is subjectively verifiable to all reasonable observers, and an allegation is something that hasn't been confirmed.
And there he shot himself in the foot.
Yeah, he did. He shot himself in the foot.
Yes, he did. He just, yeah.
Because up
There you
there,
go.
didn't he say verifiable allegations or something like that?
I mean,
Factual
this-
allegations, that little
Yes.
term there? Factual
Yes.
allegations?
This is the whole thing about Trey Gowdy. Like, a lot of people like to rip on him and stuff. I love Trey Gowdy, man. The
I do
guy,
too.
he may not be the most brilliant when it comes to different subjects because he trained in certain subjects. But he knows what questions to ask to make
Yeah,
you,
he knows how to
like,
trap
Yeah.
a person, and yeah, I mean, he
Mhm.
baited
not
him,
even
and he's
trapping,
trapped him.
because he's getting the truth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's what you have to
More or
do.
Oh,
less.
yeah. And then from that, remember, we're going to go back in the way back machine for a moment. A few months.
We are?
Yeah, just a few months when, President
When
Trump...
I had hair?
when President Trump tweeted out something about being wiretapped,
Oh yeah, he did do that, didn't he?
and people were telling him he was full of shit.
And laughing at him. Actually laughing
Yeah,
at him.
you
Yeah.
know,
Even though that was actually verified before he even
uh-huh.
said that.
Oh yeah,
Isn't
he's-
that around the time
But
of like
this-
Golden Shower Gate or some shit?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it
But
was
this,
actually.
this just makes it a little worse.
Oh yeah. Okay, title of this article is Trump, was FISA Act used by previous admin to abuse the Trump campaign?
Of course it was.
This is the act that may have been used with the help of the discredited and phony dossiers to so badly surveil and abuse the Trump campaign by the previous administration, among others, Trump tweeted Thursday morning, Mr. Proud Peacock.
Right.
The Department of Justice released a motion in September saying the department had no evidence related to wiretaps as described by Trump. CNN reported in September that Trump's former campaign chairman Paul Manafort was under surveillance by the FISA court through the start of the Trump administration. The FISA Act allows intelligence officials to surveil the communications of foreign powers or agents of foreign powers outside of the U.S. who might be suspected of espionage or terrorism. The law is scheduled for reauthorization this week, and a bipartisan group of lawmakers are proposing amendments to the legislation that would protect the privacy of Americans. The Washington Examiner reported on Tuesday.
I'm just going to comment on this, by the way, real fast.
Okay.
If you look closely at the current recommendations being advised for FISA, they're pretty much all Democratic representation or recommendations
Mm-hmm.
to close the loopholes that were used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Dun, dun, dun.
to cover their asses. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, because they're a sinking ship right now. They're desperate.
Yeah.
And when
It
this
is
blows
just
up
like-
in the face, oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait to midterms.
Oh, yeah.
It is just a very awkward little thing in there that the Democrats themselves are the ones. They pointed out the loopholes, and that's sort of how this came about to begin with, was them going, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't allow this, and somebody in the back end went, wait, they were allowing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, of course they were allowing that. They did all sorts of shit because they wanted to discredit Trump.
Yep.
Because how dare a businessman become president when the Constitution was written essentially with the rules of the presidency to imply that anybody could become president and you didn't need to be a frickin' politician to do so.
And look at Obama, how he ran his government.
Mhm.
He ran his government.
Yeah.
He didn't have Congress helping him. So I could see that in his mind that he wasn't breaking the law.
MC,
Because-
FISA judge is going to get called before Congress sooner or later. Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, that has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It does have to happen.
Yep.
But yeah, Obama thought he could get away with it because, who's going to stop him? The Constitution's not stopping him.
Nope. The
it
Constitution's
will.
not stopping at all. Mm-mm.
It will, though. I hope.
Oh,
We'll see.
Obama and his wonderful pen of the never-ending ink wrote a lot of executive orders that went against the
Yes, he
Constitution.
did. Oh, yes, he did. And
Do we
a lot
want to
of
go
them-
into that? Because that'll take a whole entire another fucking stream, won't it?
That'll take a week. That
That'll
would
take-
take
yeah.
a couple weeks.
That would
would
take
take
a week's
2 weeks.
worth of coffee talks.
Yeah, it would be.
Don't
pretty much. It'd take an
don't get
entirety
me
of one
on-
of Tonka's streams.
don't get me on to why Google thinks the Diversity Hiring Act is okay.
Yeah. All right. Representatives Jordan and Gates, special counsel needed as questions mount on Clinton, Comey, Russian dossier, and more. So they in this article, out of, gates.house.gov names Comey. So there's another name that's possibly in that 4-page report.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
No, wait. What happened to Trump Comey? Wait, Clinton Comey? No, it was Trump Comey. Pretty sure all that Comey evidence in Russia, that was Trump, wasn't it?
Oh, it's
You're not telling me.
yeah,
You're not
yeah.
telling me Comey was in talks with Clinton the whole time. No.
Oh,
And then
man.
Trump fires Comey? What's going on with that? Why do you do that?
Okay, this is a statement on Gates's page, so you can find it. I believe the link is below as well. And he starts with, Mr. Attorney General, it is time to do your job. Why, in 2016, did FBI Director James Comey call the Clinton investigation a matter, not an investigation? After all, Mr. Comey wasn't director of the Federal Bureau of Matters. Why, in 2016, did FBI Director Comey begin drafting an exoneration letter for Secretary Clinton, whom he called grossly negligent in an early draft of the letter before completing the investigation, before interviewing several witnesses, and before interviewing Secretary Clinton? Why, in 2016, did James Comey and the Justice Department give Cheryl Mills, Secretary Clinton's chief of staff, an immunity agreement for turning over her laptop computer? Typically, the department would issue a subpoena or get a warrant and seize it. Why, in this case, did the FBI agree to destroy the laptop?
Yeah, what about that?
Why, in 2016, one day before the Benghazi report was released and 5 days before Secretary Clinton was interviewed by the FBI, did Attorney General Lynch meet former President Clinton on the tarmac in Phoenix?
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful. Half an hour and everything changes.
Why did the intelligence community in the final months of the Obama administration unmask names at a record rate? Why, in the days following the meeting and when emailing the public relations staff at the Justice Department, did Loretta Lynch use the pseudonym Elizabeth Carlisle? If your conversation with the former president... Oh, thank you, Chris Burton. Thank you and welcome. Pull up a chair and make yourself at home.
Moose cow.
Oh, and he says Truman wasn't really a politician. He's over there on my Twitch chat.
Ooh.
Yep, I have another follower on Twitch. Thank you.
Wow.
Welcome.
I've known
That's
Mitch
cool.
the longest, so out of support Lopez.
I'm Moose cow, darn it.
If your conversation with the former president was only about golf and grandchildren, then why not use your real name? Why was the decision on whether to charge Secretary Clinton made by FBI Director Comey and not the Attorney General? Why did James Comey publicize the Clinton investigation? Why, in 2016, did the FBI pay for the Russian dossier? It's been reported that in addition to the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee paying Fusion GPS for the dossier, the FBI also reimbursed Christopher Steele, author of the dossier. Why was the Fusion GPS co-founder Glenn Simpson meeting with Russian lawyer Natalia Vasilinitskaya both before and after the meeting with Donald Trump Jr.?
The Russians did it. The Russians did it. The Russians did it.
They always do it. Don't they do everything? Why?
Yeah, I just killed one. He was running into my computer.
Why is the FBI so reluctant to tell Congress and the American people if the dossier was the basis for the FISA court order permitting the government to spy on Americans associated with President Trump's campaign? If the dossier was a legitimate intelligence document relied on by the court, then why not just tell the country?
There's a zombie on my screen. Was that a Russian zombie?
Why, on January 6, 2017, did James Comey brief President-elect Trump on the dossier? Again, if the dossier was a legitimate intelligence document, then why wait 2 months after the election to inform the President-elect?
Destroy evidence.
There's a lot of good questions here.
Yeah, there is.
Why did the Obama administration leak to CNN that Mr. Comey had briefed President-elect Trump on the dossier?
B-E-L. Does the dossier also come in graphic novel version?
I know, right? Most people
That was
would,
good.
most people would read it if it did.
There you go. They would be involved in politics and everything else. It would be a good thing.
Oh, yeah. Several media outlets had the dossier prior to the briefing, yet no one would print it because most of the document could not be substantiated. In his congressional testimony, Mr. Comey himself called the dossier salacious and unverified. As pointed out in the Federalist, did the fact that the FBI director had briefed the president-elect on the dossier give it the legitimacy the press needed to go ahead and print something they knew was not accurate?
No, the media would never do that. I'm saying that with a straight face, too.
Yeah, I bet. Why did the intelligence community in the final months of the Obama administration unmask names at a record rate? Ooh, he wrote that one twice. He really wants that one answered.
Oh, he really wants that one answered.
Yes,
that one's important.
Mm-hmm. Why, after Mr. Comey was fired on May 9th, 2017, was it so critical for a special counsel to be named to examine possible Trump-Russia collusion? So critical that James Comey leaked a government document about his conversations with President Trump through a friend to the New York Times.
From a friend through another friend?
Right. A friend of a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend? All these friends. Chris Burton, a lot of damning evidence if you ask me. Yes. And Gates is asking a lot of good questions that have yet to be answered.
And where's Kobe today? He's still free walking around as well, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Ugh.
Yep. Let's see.
And people wonder, and the typical American person wonders why the government is so broken.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Why is the special counsel Robert Mueller, according to The Hill and Circa News in 2009 and 2010, the FBI, through an informant, learned Russian companies seeking to do business in the United States were involved in kickbacks and bribes. Yet, FBI Director Robert Mueller did not inform Congress and did not inform the Committee of Foreign Investment in the United States, the entity responsible for the decision on whether to approve the uranium
I'm raising my hand.
deal.
I'm raising my hand. I'm raising my hand.
Okay.
Would that mean that he's in trouble? He should have been charged.
Yes, he should have been
And
charged.
And he got charged with running an investigation on Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Collusion.
Exactly.
I like how that comes around into a nice little donut.
It's a nice little circle, isn't it? Everything comes around
it
full
is.
circle.
It really is. Mr. Mad Panda!
Yep,
Yay!
we have a Mad
Moose
Panda in
cow!
the chat. Any plans for a Jimmy the Cowardly Weasel show on PBS? No.
Why does bacon taste so
Tastes
good? Because it does. That's
it
why
does.
fuck one.
All right. Why did Robert Mueller not inform CFIUS? And why did the Justice Department put a gag order on the informant? Finally, why won't Attorney General Jeff Sessions, the person with the visibility and responsibility to answer these questions, do his job? On July 27th, 2017, 20 House Republican members of the Judiciary Committee sent a letter to the Attorney General calling for a special counsel to get answers to the above questions. On September 28, 2017, 5 House Republican members of the Judiciary Committee met with the Attorney General and Justice Department staff to inquire about the July letter. The Justice Department's response? Silence. It's time for Jeff Sessions to name a special counsel and get answers for the American people. If not, he should step down.
You know, there's been a lot of silence when it comes to people being charged with stuff, looking for answers.
But
And
you notice
this is
how
just-
all this is going down and they're looking for these answers, but Jeff Sessions is going after the legal marijuana people?
Yeah,
so.
I noticed that big time. Yeah.
That
Like,
misdirection?
What does he have to hide? What's his connection? At this point, what is everyone's connection? Because everyone's connected some way, somehow, to go after Trump.
Oh, yeah.
So this is bigger than anything right now.
Yeah. What you're seeing on the screen, if you can see it clearly enough, are some of the tweets that I got
Moose
from
cow.
some of the senators. Hey, babe, moose cow. Some of the tweets that were circulating around in regards to this particular hashtag while we're kind of, having a little more of a discussion. Yeah, it's just, this is going down. People are looking for answers, and all of a sudden Sessions is, cut loose the attorneys under his power to go after, legal recreational marijuana sellers and marijuana sellers for medical purposes. This is a redirection that is, obvious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's glaring. It's like inside of a barn. It's like stormtroopers hitting inside of a barn, which they can't hit. I don't know I don't know why I said it, because it doesn't mean anything to what I was just thinking.
Chris Burton, Jeff Sessions, in my opinion, is an asshat. Yeah, he's turning out to be one.
Wow,
Pretty
Ronan,
close.
you are 7K.
That means
Dang.
that means half of that is going to be his. That means a 3,500-mile paycheck. Woo!
Nice. Woohoo!
Catching up on bills. Yay!
Yay.
Yeah, this is.
Go
We
ahead.
got
A lot of questions. We got a lot of questions
Yeah.
here, and like I said, I think if this memo does come out, it's going to be a lot bigger than anyone expected.
Oh yeah.
It's
And
going to be like ant scurrying.
And it needs to be come out.
out.
It needs
Yeah, it
to
has
come
to.
out.
Yes, because American
Well, I mean-
people demand answers, and it's part of the politician's job to give us answers.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't, then that's keeping us in the dark, and that's doing almost exactly what happened to us before we made our own country, basically.
Well, the whole thing
We
Well,
were
is.
kept
like,
in the
you come-
dark, and we were told to go along with it.
Yeah.
Trump knows the optics. Trump knows.
If you come to somebody like me, all right, if you had asked me 6 months before the election who I wanted for president, I would have told you absolutely anybody but anybody that was running for president.
I was voting
By
for
the
SpongeBob.
By the time the vote came down to it, Trump. Not because I like Trump. Actually, do I think he should be president? Fuck no. The guy has
Bad Panda, I'm moving in. Be prepared.
the guy has no like mental standpoint to be a presidential figure.
No.
However, out of all the other choices we had, they were all political people who are very terrible. Like you can look this stuff up and like it's very bad.
Yeah.
B.E. Atlas, he says, do you think memos will get more readers than Hillary's book? Yes.
Hell
Yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah.
Hillary's book is horrible. It was written by a 5th grader.
Yeah. And to the people in my Twitch chat and to the people in my YouTube live chat, if you do streams on Twitch or if you do content on YouTube, if you are the first person to get wind of the memos and get your hands on them and give them to me for the next coffee talk, I will shout your channel out. I know I'm a small channel myself, but we have to help each other get each other's content out there.
You know what? I'll even do one better. No, they haven't heard American Reality, so I'll give them a free shirt.
So let me
Oh,
see.
by the way, Mad Panda's on to me. He caught me. He got
Chris
He
Burton
says-
in the Twitch chat. Here we go. I live in New Jersey. Our governor, I don't really like. He's going to turn this state into a sanctuary state, but he basically told Jeff Sessions to fuck off with his suit of legal weed people. He's going to legalize it anyway.
now that Governor Christie, he good days, bad days with him. But I don't know where to start with him. He's so fat. As in with the work he does as being governor. But yeah, New Jersey's definitely a hell pit. Or a shithole. Oops, I said shithole. Oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I meant as a. Oh man.
Maddie, I found something interesting. Medicare is actually tweeting about this exact issue.
Oh yeah.
Oh?
Hold
I
on,
don't
let me-
doubt he is.
Let me DM it.
Okay. Put it in the research room over here in the Discord.
Alright,
Yeah,
I'll
you're-
send you on Twitter.
Thrax dead on. You mean Hillary has the intelligence of 5th grader, or was that because she married Bill? It's because she married Bill.
No, it's both.
And Maddie, shh! Don't tell him that I have a wife. I want to hear his accent some more.
Okay, this is the link that Medicare tweeted. So let me go ahead and do this, I think. Hang on. And we do this. And we do this to get the right one there. Alright. Get rid of this. Blink. There we go. Scott Dworkin, there is absolutely no piece of paper like this stupid memo David Nunes is babbling about that changes the fact that Trump team members were in direct contact with Russians during the campaign transition and while in the White House. Anyone saying release the memo is a traitor. You're an idiot, Dworkin.
Yeah.
You're a freaking idiot. Dworkin, you are the world's biggest fucking idiot. And Medicare's comment is, but if the memo isn't anything like they claim it is, why wouldn't you advocate to release it just to show everyone that they're liars?
But you see how the Democrats are trying to play this? Mm-hmm. That's the second one now that's trying to downplay and say, oh, this is nothing.
Oh, yeah, they're all trying to downplay it.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. Oh, there's Neilk. Let's face it. They're downplaying this because I think some of them know what's in it. And their golden girl is going to fall. And finally something is going to stick to her ass. And she's going to be prosecuted.
Thank goodness. I pray that's the reality that we're facing here. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about Clintons. Yeah. And their power, their reach is far and wide. Yeah. So I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if this memo's going to see the light of day or not. It's 50-50 with me.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the memo will ever be released, because they've already staged the idea that all the people wanting it released are just Russian bots. Yeah. And they've already staged the idea that there's too many highly classified things referenced in it, and thus, obviously, all those things would need to be redacted for it to come out. Yeah. It would lose all meaning.
Yeah, I mentioned that at the beginning of the show. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Will they get away with this by hiding it? Can they successfully make it go under the rug like they have for so many other things?
I don't think they're going to be able to. There's too many eyes on this at this point.
Yeah, this one I don't think...
They're all Russian eyes. And one last thing that was weird. Every time I hear about a Russian thing that's actually provable, it's on their side of things.
Mm-hmm. Of course. The more they dig to try and find something on Trump, it slides off Trump and sticks to the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Everything they've come about Russia right now is Democrat side.
Yeah. Let's see.
And that's why Mueller's probably the reason why he's on the head of the council.
Oh yeah. Director Arketer says in the chat, "There's a whiff of fear in the air. Justified or not, remains to be seen. Fingers crossed."
Yep, indeed.
Yes, because I would love to see what this is. What's in this thing?
Remember the Clinton emails? Look what ended up with that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thought Hillary was going to finally get nailed.
Yeah.
And what happens? Yeah, exactly.
She weaseled out of it at the last second. That's what she did.
BE Atlas, I'll probably buy Hillary's book if the next edition comes printed on a roll of toilet paper.
I can't believe she actually mentions Pepperidge Farm in there.
She does. Yes.
And what was it? Goldfish crackers or something too?
Goldfish crackers, yes. She mentions that as well.
Goldfish crackers?
Seeing the developments, I always find it funny because they're like, we're going to find something on Trump. Okay, first time you said that, it slid off Trump, and now everybody was looking at Mueller. Then everybody was looking at Comey. Now everybody's looking at Obama, the FBI, the DOJ, the NSA. It's like, every time you try and say, this is the connection, it's like, nope, missed it.
Let's see. Let's go back and let's see what the Democrats have tried to do with Trump. Election night.
Chris Burton, I don't want to be dirty here, but Comey was sucking Hillary's phantom pee-pee.
Oh, it's not phantom. It's real. It's real. I've heard it's really huge.
Okay,
bigger than all of ours.
Let's not go into that. Let's not go into that. I don't need the visual.
So the first thing they try to do is blame the crowds for being pro-Trump, causing all this violence. Turns out it was the other side. Mm-hmm. Then we have this Russian thing that started popping.
Yep.
And then something about Trump not being a legitimate president, as they tried to impeach him twice with paperwork, and of course it's been rejected.
Yep.
His mental facilities have been challenged. 2 books came out really quickly on that, but yet Trump went in, health good, mental facilities excellent. He could be president.
Yeah.
So they lost about that. I know there's a couple I'm missing.
Oh yeah.
But
you want to read a little bit more between Mr. Gowdy and Mr. Simpson?
yeah, sure, why not? I want to hear some more tap dancing.
Let's hear some more tap dancing. All right. Mr. Trey Gowdy, all right, no offense to people that do what you do for a living, but if it's all publicly available, why do people need to hire you? Mr. Simpson, well, we live in an information society, and there's a lot of information out there. Some people are good at finding it and processing it, and others not so much, or it's just a question of specialization. So if you're running a business, and you're busy running your business, and you think that the guy who's your main competitor is cheating, or maybe paying a bribe to steal a contract from you, and that's not your main line of work. You don't know how to investigate whether someone is engaged in corruption or whether they've got a bad business history. And so, you hire someone who specializes in that kind of work. So he specializes in finding records and reading things and digesting large volumes of information.
That's a lot of words for saying I don't know. Yay, Minecraft! Oops, I said that out loud. Sorry.
Trey Gowdy, if I understood your testimony correctly, you don't specialize in political opposition research? Mr. Simpson, it's not a major line of business for us. It's, every couple of years, 3, 4, when there's a presidential campaign.
When the election comes around every 4 years,
Right? Sometimes we get asked to do stuff in California initiatives and other things. Generally speaking, the market niche that we occupy is not the opposition research niche. I don't think our pricing structure is conducive to getting opposition research business, which generally doesn't pay very well. Okay,
yeah,
you don't do it all that often, but you do it every time there's a presidential campaign. So which one is it?
Every 4 years there are.
So which one is it? Do you not do it very much, or do you do it every time there's a presidential campaign?
Ow, my brain, ow.
Every 4 years, like clockwork. It's not our main thing at all.
No,
right, exactly.
No, exactly.
Ow, my brain. Ow, pain in my brain.
Yep.
Pain in my brain, exactly. Trey Gowdy, well, given that, and given the fact that that's not your niche, why did the Washington Free Beacon approach you about doing the research on candidate Trump? Mr. Simpson, well, one of our, God, he puts so many you-knows in there.
He's a valley girl.
The specialties that I think people know is that we're good at business investigations, corporate investigations, and Mr. Trump is a big businessman, so I can't get into exactly what sort of was said, and in fact, I don't think I even remember, if I had said that kind of information. But it's reasonable to interpret. Let me start this over, because that's rich. So I
do it in Valley Girl voice.
He pulled an Oliver North.
Yeah,
I don't recall. All right, you want me to do it in my Valley Girl voice?
Please do, because he sounds like a Valley Girl.
So I can't get exactly sort of what was said, and in fact I don't even remember, and I had that kind of if I had that kind of information, but I think it's reasonable to interpret that it was because we have a background doing business investigation.
That is him. He's a Valley Girl.
I know, but I don't know, and I can't remember. What the fuck?
I know, but I can't remember.
It's like, I know, I don't know, I can't remember. Those are the 3 options I have in the day. I will use all of them by the time that the sun is set.
Right? These are my buzzwords. I was told to use these before this whole investigation was over with, and they're going to use these in this one sentence because I'm the village idiot and I'm out of work right now. Okay.
By the way, Maddie, I did get Panda to post a link. It is glorious. So
it's not that link with Hillary Clinton's face on toilet paper, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is.
Awesome.
That's exactly what it is.
But I bet you that toilet paper is rough.
It looks like he's changing or amending his statement here. Mr. Gowdy, and how long were you employed by the Washington Free Beacon? Mr. Simpson, here we go. As I said, I think we started in September or October, and I think it wound down in April. That's longer than 30 days, bud. Sometime in the spring. As the Republican primaries came to an end, it became obvious that work was going to end.
I think.
Confirmed. Trey Gowdy is Mr. Medicare. They're the only 2 people in the world I know that can lock people down with simple questions.
Yes.
I know.
Exactly.
Well, his approach is this approach is different from politicians because it goes straight on. Well, politicians tap dance and everything else. Trey Gowdy is like a bulldog, straight ahead for the attack.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. Yeah, I guess Gowdy's a little too aggressive.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, so that's why people can't handle him because they're not used to his style of questioning.
Chris Burton in the Twitch chat. I was gonna say that the SJW meltdown since Trump won have been epic and hilarious. Yes, they have been. Yes, they have.
Yes,
been.
they have.
Very entertaining. Very entertaining.
Especially with Antifa saying they're fighting fascism in the United States.
Oh yeah.
Because Trump is fascist.
B.E. Atlas. I don't think I remember K.
You know, I do remember, but I don't. I know it's there, but it's
Real
not
quick,
there.
for all the people in the YouTube chat who aren't, please, if you have it, go sub on Twitch.
Oh yeah, I gotta put my Twitch link in there.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, I need your Twitch
Sub,
link.
We need the Twitch.
sub. You won't do it.
There you
I
go.
dare you.
There's my Twitch link.
I dare you.
I'll just click it after the show so
There
it
you
doesn't
go. It's
go on
in the
the
research
screen.
for stories.
So,
Gotta get those followers up on Twitch so we can get the sub base and everything.
Yeah.
Sub base.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. So yeah, it's just the hilarity of this, you know. And then you have Mad Panda in the chat because I got to read that. That was priceless. Of course, we all love our panda. Like
Oh,
I don't
love
know
the
how to
panda.
like English, so like, oh my God, seriously.
Especially him doing his voice like that. Yeah, I can see it.
You need to hear Panda try and impersonate Callie. It's a sight to behold.
For those of you wondering in both chats how in the world I can do a Valley Girl, I was an 80s kid.
Yep.
That
I will do it.
explains everything.
Yeah, it
That
does.
should explain everything.
Amen. It does. I was an 80 kid too.
It explains a whole lot.
Yeah,
I
it
feel. I feel too young to be here.
That was- It's like whenever you hear a millennial speak and you're counting the likes. The first time I actually heard a millennial speak, about the 5th like, I'm like, oh my God, they're relics from the 80s. Holy shit. The Valley Girls have come back and they're dumb.
I might have to bring Panda on the show tomorrow just to hear his voice once more. And have him do the Callie.
Callie said, I is true Valley Girl. Yes, you are.
I do have to appreciate how Maddie added that. I don't know if anybody caught it. She said, and they came back and they're dumb.
Yeah. Dumb. Gotta put the in there. Okay, he goes, Gowdy, did you rely on sources or sub-sources during your work for the Washington Free Beacon? Mr. Simpson, pulling another Ollie North. I don't specifically remember. We may have engaged someone. Typically speaking, we engage some contractors to gather in documents in faraway places. And, you know, far away in this case, maybe even just being California or Illinois. My God, a faraway place is California? Dude!
Thrax nailed it. They got dumber? How?
Yeah, exactly.
He did. He was all intelligent and everything else, and now he is just wheels are coming off.
Right? Oh,
Thrax, you are a blessing, and I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, absolutely love you. Marry me.
oh my God, this is just and you know, far away in this case, maybe even just being California or Illinois or something like that. So I assume we had some contractors, for instance, but I don't specifically remember. If you think California or Illinois is far away and you live in the United States, you need a map, motherfucker.
No kidding.
Oh my God.
Now, Maddie, I want you to do this. I want you to start up intelligently and just progressively sink into Valley Girl. 'Cause that's what's happening here.
It is. It's what's happening.
That's what happened.
Trey Gowdy.
also.
Here we go. This is my lawyer voice. Trey Gowdy. At some point, did the Washington Free Beacon stop paying you for the project into then-candidate Trump? Did the business relationship end? Mr. Simpson, I remember that we stopped doing the Trump work for the Beacon sometime in the spring of 2016. Mr. Gowdy, did you pick up discussion off the record? Mr. Simpson, he just reminded me, I don't know the exact date of when the payments and the last payment was. And so I can tell you, generally speaking, that the division of labor in my company, I don't handle the invoicing and banking stuff. So I can tell you more substantively when it stopped, but I don't, the records are not something that I'm immersed in.
I have to go with Fuckwad
What?
here, and I blame the Tide Pods.
You blame the
Always
Tide Pods.
blame the Tide Pods.
I mean, this
It's
is
like,
just... I'm not going to read all of it because it's 165 pages, but it's just...
It's like...
Watching Gowdy work by just reading this. You're right, he's Medicare. He totally stumps this guy and corners him just asking simple questions.
Exactly.
Simple
Literally-
fucking questions. It's nothing that
It's nothing It's nothing flashy. It's not a show.
Yeah,
He
you don't
just-
have to be an expert. You just have to have fucking common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Ask
what the
common
fuck is
sense
the
questions.
problem with all these people? Like, I'm an academic and I'm a lawyer. Fuck you being an academic. I have common sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you're dealing with a lot of people that don't have common sense. So you had this Mr. Simpson here thinking that, okay, I got this in a bag, and actually no, Trey Gowdy's asking questions, common sense questions. He's like,
Yeah. And Chris
And that's
Burton,
it.
Chris Burton nails it. I'm a millennial, but I'm not a dumbass millennial. I voted for Trump, and I think the SJWs are those kids that weren't disciplined as kids. They were coddled and told they were special. Exactly.
I'm not
Bless
gonna lie.
you,
I'm
and-
not gonna lie. As somebody who was working in the currency exchange and shit, specifically when it happened, I was against Trump being elected, but I was against Hillary being elected too. Like,
That was,
Hillary-
we're
Hillary
competing
being
against
elected-
Alex Jones' channel. It's live.
that was
like-
pretty much where I was at as well. Like
Hillary being elected could have screwed our country, but really, like, my thoughts, it sounds bad, but my thoughts were like, if Hillary gets elected, she'll be impeached in a year. If Trump gets elected, our entire economy could crash.
Okay, this is where I become the mommy
So that
of the
was my
stream.
concern with Trump.
For you guys on YouTube, there are 18 people watching. I have 6 likes and 1 dislike. There's a problem with that number.
Oops, I disliked it. I'm sorry.
Smack is that like button. Like this
Do I have
memo
to-
is about to smack the entire Democratic Party.
As little tiny sister of this stream, I swear I will hunt the person who made that dislike down, and somebody is going to get their butt is going to get a boot.
Oh, come on. You're
All
not an
right,
official
now-
YouTuber.
now-
Look,
all
you're
right,
not an
now we
official
have to-
YouTuber
now
until
we
you
have
get your
to
first
protect-
dislike on a stream.
Now we
Come
have
after
to
me.
protect the dislike person, so everybody dislike the stream in order to protect the dislike person.
Let's not.
No one is afraid of me, and they will show it by disliking every single one of these.
Well, that
Hey,
would
hey.
bring up the interaction metrics.
Hey, algorithms don't care whether they're likes or dislikes. Now we need to protect the dislike person because Lou's gonna kill him.
You know,
So-
I
so
would
as
not
a-
hurt
as a
a
group-
fly if I
As
even
a
if I
group, we
wanted
have
to.
to dislike the stream.
I'm sorry, I failed you.
Ah, Mariel's following me on Twitch. Thank you, Mariel. Let me see here. I'm looking under, because I follow the government people on my Twitter. Let me see if they've been saying anything else.
I have failed all of you.
Let's
I'm very
see.
sorry.
What
Might
the
I
hell was
propose?
that?
That was
Kill it.
weird.
What the hell was that?
I-
Cute? That was
I-
me
I
trying
still
to sound
think-
cute.
Oh, shit,
I
sorry.
still think
Might
while
I
it may be a dumb statement, my favorite statement this year is it is the most hilarious thing in the world when Democrats are losing in a democratic society.
It's great. It's, the
It really
meltdown
is,
is
though.
epic. The
Okay.
meltdown has been so epic. I mean, wow.
Okay,
That's all I can say is wow.
this needs to be shown. Here we go. This is a statement by the President on FISA Amendments Reauthorization Act of 2017. This came out today. This is why I follow the Twitter. Today I signed into law S-139, FISA Amendments Reauthorization Act of 2017, the Act. The Act authorizes Title VII of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act until December 31st, 2023, and makes a number of amendments to current law. Section 702 of Title VII allows the intelligence community, under a robust regime of oversight by all three branches of government, to collect critical intelligence on international terrorists, weapons proliferators, and other important foreign intelligence targets located outside the United States. This intelligence is vital to keeping the nation safe. As shown by the recent attacks in New York City and elsewhere around the globe, we face a constant threat from foreign terrorist networks and other foreign actors who would do us harm. In order to detect and prevent attacks before they happen, we must be able to intercept the communications of foreign targets who are reasonably believed to possess foreign intelligence information. 702 provides the necessary authority, and it has been proven to be among the nation's most effective foreign intelligence tools. It has enabled our intelligence community to disrupt numerous plots against our citizens at home and our war fighters abroad, and it has unquestionably saved American lives. The act I have signed today preserves and extends this critically important national security tool. Let's see. 702 provides robust privacy protections for American citizens, and most importantly, prohibits the government from using it to target Americans and persons located in the United States. Only foreigners located abroad may be targeted for surveillance under Section 702. This pretty much middle fingers the Patriot Act. Only foreigners located abroad may be targeted for surveillance under Section 702. While every court to have considered action, Section 702 has found it to be legal and consistent with the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, the Act establishes additional procedures to further protect the privacy of Americans whose communications are incidentally collected under 702. Among these is a new requirement that in a predicated criminal investigation, an investigation with an elevated factual foundation, the Federal Bureau of Investigation apply for and obtain an order from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court before assessing the contents of Section 702. Acquired communications that were retrieved. I'm glitching, yo. I'm turning into Elmer Fudd. Were retrieved using certain United States person query terms. By applying this provision only to certain queries in investigations unrelated to national security, the Act preserves the FBI's ability to connect the dots and look for national security related threats, especially during the pre-investigation phase when it often does not yet have enough information to know whether a suspected threat relates to national security.
Can I do a TLDR for the simpleton here, layman's terms?
Well, I'm almost done. And then you can do your TLDR. No.
I have one really quick question. It's just, do the facts include factual accusations?
Factual allegations.
Factual allegations.
What did I say? Accusations. I can't.
How factual do they have to be factual?
I don't know.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead and
They don't have to be factual. They have to be fashion.
Yep.
I interrupted.
Okay, let's see. Pre-investigation.
So it has to be factual.
Right.
Okay.
All right, here we go. To connect the dots and look for the national security related threats, especially during the critical pre-investigation phase, when often does not have enough information to know whether a suspected threat relates to national security. Although the Fourth Amendment does not require a court order to query information lawfully collected under Section 702, information already lawfully in the government's possession, this new procedure, along with the Act's other oversight and transparency requirements, provides further privacy safeguards while preserving the operational effectiveness of our foreign intelligence collection efforts. I would have preferred a permanent reauthorization of Title VII to protect the safety and security of the nation. By signing this act today, I, however, am ensuring that this lawful and essential intelligence program will continue to protect Americans for at least the next 6 years. We cannot let our guard down in the face of foreign threats to our safety, our freedom, and our way of life. Hit it, Diz! Give us the TLDR.
Okay. So everybody remembers a few years ago, fucking what, 16 years ago when Bush enacted the whole we can spy on every fucking American thing?
Yeah. The
Basically,
Patriot
this law sort of enforces that to where you can spy on people as long as they're a national threat, but if you obtain information, say like you message your friend and say, oh man, I fucked up and drove home drunk, you can't be held accountable for that message because they found it accidentally because they were researching the Patriot Act. That's essentially what this is saying, is you can still fuck up and be a normal human being, and they may they may intercept every single message you've ever held, but they can't hold it legally accountable because it's not a national threat, essentially.
Yeah. So
He's so un-American. He's so un-American and fascist.
This counteracts
of
the
him.
Patriot Act to reinstate it to where it only affects people who could actually be a threat to America, and it's not something that every citizen has to know. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody remembers 10 years ago there was an issue where how do I hide my emails because what if I say the wrong word?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
He's such an American. He's being over-Americanized. I can't take all this Americanism.
We has a panina. She finally made it. Right as
I
want to
be able to talk to my friends and not be concerned about the speech I use in a text message.
Mm-hmm. And this does it. This is basically a middle finger to the blanket Patriot Act.
You know, I hope he does more, like maybe get rid of some departments and start condensing, so we can save some money.
Wasn't that one of his plans?
Yeah, it was supposed to be. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Yep.
My fingers are crossed. Because I want to see the budget, you know. Can I talk about that real quick?
I'm trying to stay on topic with this. We can discuss the budget tomorrow, and you'll get your chance to shill.
Okay.
Can I propose a quick...
Yeah.
Sorry.
What is it, Nilk?
Oh, I just want to propose a quick little thought thing. Can we come up with any legitimate reason for the memo to not be released? I mean, any legitimate reason at all?
Yeah.
Can we come up?
No,
with
not yet.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's 4 pages, so they can't claim it's too expensive to go through and redact things.
Well, that's the biggest thing. Is the redaction.
There could be multiple active investigations regarding the memo itself.
And then it wouldn't be released until the investigations were done.
Release would actually cause jury faults. So
Okay, so that's a possibility.
that would be the only reason, is because we're considering like some sort of grand jury or something, where it's an actual trial, and in that case, yes, the memo shouldn't be released to the public. However, it would actually be a guaranteed release as soon as the suit was over, essentially.
But I think at this rate, since this memo is so big, the Democrats can't sweep it under the table, you know, under the rug.
It's either file
It's gonna-
charges or release it.
And
Yeah.
Chris Burton in the Twitch chat says, "Oh, and the Patriot Act is unconstitutional." Yes, it was.
Yes, it is. Yes, it was.
Yes, it is.
Yes and no, actually.
Oh, here we go with this.
No, I'm just saying.
Hear him out.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Hear him
Yeah.
out.
From a constitutional standpoint, let's go back to when the Constitution was written. If they had any reason to suspect treason, they would not only have implemented every spying technique possible, but upon obtaining all spying information, completely killed the guy with no question. So the Patriot Act was actually sort of a balance, because you do have to realize that our government was doing that anyway. The Patriot Act was a public statement of it. I'm not saying it was unconstitutional, or it was constitutional, because it wasn't. You're right, it's unconstitutional. However, it was a public statement of something our government has been attempting to do since the inception of our government.
So, one quick thing about the FISA thing.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that the especially now the whole if we uncover that you admit to some crime or something in here, well, we can't charge you with that because whatever, we're not supposed to have this. I understand that being, protection from self-incrimination, but aren't they still violating your right to privacy by being able to even read that? Like, it's supposed to all be
No.
anonymized.
Ronan Wolf just said the AP just dropped a budget tweet from Trump. Yeah, I got it. It says Trump says USA is at risk of closing.
Yeah, because they can't come to an agreement with the whole DACA and the immigration issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They need an excuse for something.
Yeah.
Well, but we're looking at, and again, this is explained away very easily. The last close was, I believe, 2013, and it was a 16-day shutdown.
The government still runs.
Yeah, the government still runs. It's still, everything is, as far as private citizens go, you're unaffected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
MC
what
says
we're looking at, that like 13 to 16-day shutdown they did back then cost somewhere around $24 billion.
Jeez.
Yeah, didn't they hire a bunch of, or pay a bunch of extra security to go to monuments that normally have no staff at all to stand there and prevent people from entering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
There was
did.
all sorts of issues.
Yeah.
They were trying to be buttholes about it.
Also, MC says, problem is none of us are the arbiters of what is or isn't constitutional. That is left to the judicial branch. If you are, and I don't want to say literate in a bad sense, but if you are literate, read up on it, understand the Constitution, you can, in some sense, be a good judge as to what can be and what can't be constitutional and what is and isn't. You are correct in that the Supreme Court is the one that is the final say over what is and isn't constitutional. But those of us who are learned, for lack of a better word, in the Constitution and its Bill of Rights and consequent amendments can go in there, look at it, and go, oh, there goes my voice.
Well,
yes, this is, or no, this isn't.
And honestly, one of our... Oh, go ahead, Marley.
I was going to say, let's face the judicial system right now, we really can't trust because it's full of activist judges. So it is a citizen's right to know the Constitution.
Actually, I would argue that, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as far as the judicial system goes, it's full of a lot of judges who they tend to be right-leaning, but they do their best to find a middle ground so that they won't lose their job. The issue is that the judge system itself is chosen separate from, like, all right, you can go vote for your senator, you can go vote for your congressman, you can't go vote for your judge.
Right, exactly. Like
you
the
cannot
circuit,
vote for your
10th
Supreme
Circuit,
Court
right.
judge. Like, and that's where the issue actually comes in. Is the
I should have
rephrased making the laws.
I should have rephrased my words better.
Yeah.
I should have rephrased that better. I apologize for that.
Well, I am just saying, like,
But I'm just saying,
Congress can pass a law, but the Supreme Court can overrule it.
yes, they can.
And the Supreme Court is something you can't vote on, so that's really where the issue has been coming in lately.
But it's still, Supreme Court will still wait for the Court of Appeals to see what happens with them. And most times, especially like the 9th Circuit and the 8th Circuit, where it's basically Democratic, that's why the lawyers have been going to those circuits to get their rulings, the Democratic
well, that's the whole
rulings
issue is,
in place.
yeah, again, that's the whole issue is you have basically what is essentially bought out positions.
Yeah.
Nobody
we have
likes
no
to
control.
say it,
Yeah.
but it really is. It's bought out positions. Like, people may say their congressman is paid for, but your congressman may have a lot of fucking backing, but he's not near as paid for as a Supreme Court judge. Realistically, like, a Supreme Court judge gets more in benefits every year than a congressman would.
Yeah, they do. And they're in for life.
Yeah.
And that's why voting. That's why voting is important.
What were you going to say, Neil?
I just want to say that people do have a responsibility to know what their rights are, and if you think something's unconstitutional, you should say that, you should discuss that, and if people didn't think something was unconstitutional, it would never make it to the Supreme Court in the first place. So
I agree, but the issue nowadays is that, like, even for the most unconstitutional act, if you don't make enough money, you can't afford to even argue.
Yeah, that is a
And
problem.
I will say that down to, like, my grandmother passed away a few years ago, and as her only living descendant and the only person in her will, I was unable to obtain her house because I couldn't afford a lawyer that would fight against my family who could afford a better lawyer. I paid lawyers. I was paying lawyers. I ended up losing money and shit. And
Yeah,
at
it
the
gets
same
really
time,
expensive.
At the same time, my family was paying better lawyers, so my lawyers were disappearing and dropping off.
Yeah.
And that was another reason they tried to push Hillary in, because there's going to be some openings on the Supreme Court.
Probably.
So that was another reason. Like Ginsburg, she's what, 230 years old?
Yeah,
Seems that way.
250?
something like that.
Seems that way. But it's like to the answer of Neil's question. I can't come up with a viable reason as to why this memo should not be released. I can come up with a whole bunch of political and conspiratorial reasons as to why they don't want it to be released.
I think Diz's reason is the only legitimate one.
The only legitimate reason is they're filing charges to the extent of putting somebody in fucking Guantanamo.
Yeah.
Well, could they claim active investigation and then in the end not end up filing charges, but at least delay the removal, thinking that or the release, thinking that people won't care by the time it does come out?
Yes.
No.
Yes, that's a possibility, I think. What do you mean? What?
Well,
No.
I think it is.
on that note, gentlemen,
We're done?
yeah. This has
But he
been...
says the pull full coffee.
Yeah.
You can finish your coffee after the
We
stream,
will
sweetie.
talk after the stream. We will finish the coffee.
Are you sure?
Patience,
I'm
young
sure.
grasshopper.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. This has
Okay.
been another episode of Coffee Talk. I think these are now going to be on Mondays and Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you that are new to the stream, Coffee Talk is where we take an issue and we do a little more research on it to give you a little more information without the mainstream media spin. I hope you've enjoyed tonight's edition of Coffee Talk, which was about what we knew about the FISA memo. And no, as of yet, we still do not have any information as to when they are going to vote and what the vote is going to be. We can only speculate on that, but we do know that the president has final say as to whether or not he is going to release the memo if they do vote to have it declassified. So until next time, my friends, this has been Coffee Talk with Diz. That's your cue.
And please join us on Discord at any point. Everybody's welcome. We love the conversation.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And Lou
Sayonara.
and Merlin, don't forget to chill.
May your moose cows be bright, and if you want to stick around and listen to my banter tomorrow night from 8 to 12, American Reality.
That's Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, Eastern Standard Time, what she said. Eastern Standard Time. We talk a variety of topics, because we're on there for 4 hours.
Yep.
So if you want, please join us, be part of the chat, and have fun.
We also had a Yin Wolf here that was on earlier that had to go to bed because he's over in Scotland and it was 2 a.m. over there. We also have Neilk that was on the panel.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm not really a shiller, so.
That's all right.
You were a lovely dude, though, so you deserve the love.
Yep. So,
Okay.
as always, my friends, whether it's coffee or tea, thank you for talking with me on this evening's Coffee Talk. You guys have a great evening.